Hello everybody, my name is Creepy Trucky and welcome to Mother Chicken Siamese. That's right, Mother Chicken Siamese, and today we are looking at this pattern over here on the screen. There's a design I created for how to draw if you can't draw, name of our show. And we're doing a monocolor design because it's an easy thing to draw if you can't draw, and today's theme is Bionic Belly Button, the name of a handle. And from the idea you can get what we want to do here is some kind of belly button that is literally bionic. To start off, once again we're using Photoshop, the old edition of Photoshop Elements, and we're going to be drawing on layers so that we can make it easy to draw. It's because if you can't draw, you basically can't lay down good lines, and so you often do this and you can't draw quite a straight line. But if you draw it on the Photoshop layer, you can go over it to make a bold line. You can get the eraser out and then you trim it back to form what you want to, like a nice line over time, basically. So if you don't, you can compensate for not having any drawing skills. Now, and this is just why we're using Photoshop. Moving on, let's look at our theme today. And what I wanted to do is create sort of like an Iron Man bionic implement for the belly button. But at the same time, I don't want to make it a direct copy of Iron Man, such that there's only an arc reactor in the belly button. That kind of doesn't quite work well. What I wanted to do is find reference photos to show how to do a circuit board pattern around the belly button. Let's zoom in. This is the finished result, but how we got there is by looking at some references. Now I want to do a circuit board pattern, but I found that it's too mechanical. It doesn't look quite right. But I remember there was this old anime called Lensman, which is based on the classic science fiction novel by Edward E. Smith, which is a Lensman. And basically what the Lensmen have is this device. They wear this device like a galactic sheriff's badge, which is a lens on their hands. Probably see, and this is the anime adaptation. The interesting thing about the anime adaptation is they actually make the lens more like some kind of bionic implement, and you can see the pattern of the lines. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to draw the lines of myself, but I took reference by looking at the patterns that comes out of this lens over here, which also looks like a kind of like an arc reactor, and we just copy the pattern. I mean, here we go, and you can see how the lines there's some lines that radiate out from the center of the belly button, and there's some lines that are just curving off. Notably, you can see there's a lot of curves in the lines on this screenshot from the anime. It shows you how the original artist did the art. It looks good, so I'm gonna copy the pattern when drawing my own pattern here. Now, as we go into the pattern, close in, you can see the arc reactor kind of thing. Now, this is negative painting, so basically, you have to erase away from the circle here. Let's see if it's a solid circle. What you're gonna do is take an eraser out and chip away at it to form the image, like such. Before we do all that, we have to draw a sketch. And for this piece in particular, we are not going to be able to do a photo tracing because it's just too original to find a photo for direct tracing. So no choice, we have to learn how to draw a human form So we start with the rough sketch. What we got to do is basically stretch out what the basic outline of a human being. Basically, in this case, we have a girl, and since it's going to be a silhouette and you can't quite see the boobies, we have to draw a hairstyle that looks like a girl, looks like a female. So we have a little bob with a sharp edge here, and so it's clearly a female hairstyle. And we sketch out the neck, the bits of body parts, and you have to learn how to get the proportions right by looking at people. Maybe you can get a figurine to look at how the proportions are. But basically, you have the neck is basically like a cylinder here, and the shoulders, which is sort of like little hemispheres, and then of course more hemispheres on the boobies. And the idea is to draw them into the right shape, at the right size, the right position. Now you can, in Photoshop, it's easy to do this because if you make a mistake, say draw one boobie way too big, you have two choices. You can erase it and draw it again quickly to the right size. As you can see, everything here is very rough because I can't draw, and this is a rough sketch. And then go over and over again and checking it when and see until you get a shape that looks more or less right. If it's not right, you erase it, go over again. Or if it's horribly out of shape, I say this arm is just way too big. If you draw, oh dear God, that is way too big. What you can do, you can use a selection tool, and you edit, or in this case, image, and then transform it, and resize it to something that looks symmetrical, looks right. Obviously, you have, even after this, you probably have to do a lot of erasing and redrawing until you get a shape that looks right, even in the rough sketch stage. And here is one I done earlier. As you can see, I got the shape of the female figure that I want, and I designed the bionic belly button over here. When we zoom in, we can see the a design for the arc reactor core here thingy. It's basically a circle, and then you just slowly adorn it with patterns, mechanical patterns like these little clamp thingies that penetrate the core. And then you have these lines, and once again, looking at the reference photo, you draw lines, and then you do these curves on the lines. And these dots here are supposed to look like a circuit board for where chips or whatever contacts are soldered in. And that's the detail. We fill in the detail. Again, if something doesn't look right, you erase it and try again. And this is much easier to do on Photoshop. You don't have to mess around with an eraser. You just do it electronically with a tablet. You can do this with a mouse. It's just going to take a lot longer, and it requires a lot of patience. But on the flip side, if you draw in Photoshop on a mouse or any other drawing program with a mouse, the upside is you're actually training your muscles, your arm muscles, to draw properly. Basically, you're training your basic fundamentals. Once you get this sketch out, we're going to have to select what we're going to paint. And the problem here is we want the silhouette, which means there needs to be a background light. Over here you can see this background light source, and doesn't quite look good. You can't just draw a circle because it's just going to be a circle. It's going to be a shape, and people sometimes it doesn't look a circle shape. It's not clear there's some kind of light, so we have to draw these flat thingies. And to make the flat thingies look nicer, I took reference again from the photo over here. This is a title screen from an old anime that was used to make Robotech, something called Mospeada. And so you can see in the logo, they have this thing here that looks like a flare, basically a muzzle flash. And we basically get inspiration from this pattern, and we draw this the light source backlighting our silhouette by looking at using the reference, and we come up with a design that that looks sort of like this. This big western. Oh, okay. So you can see this. It's sort of like a circle, but it's got lines around it. It got lines around it, and then there's flare. And how you draw that flare over there, right? Is you take, zoom back in to get details right. You set a nice big pen size and draw a line radiating from the center. Don't need to be solid, right like good line. And then you add some curves to it so it looks like a spike. Then you notice the tip of the spike is not spiky at all. What you do is take the eraser and take away material, take away ink, take away paint, and make it pointy. And there you go, you have a bit of a flare there. This is the finished result of the painting. Now the painting, what we've done is that we selected the outline of the silhouette. We painted a little bit. We don't paint it all the way around because it's my style choice. I mean, it's like, yeah, if we are painting it all the way around, it looks like an outline. It looks too simple. It looks not stylish. And remember the boobs we sketched out. And because it's a three-dimensional figure, and this belly button is a source of light, you actually illuminate the underside of the boobs here. And that's how we get this bit. And that's pretty much it. Well, thank you for watching, and be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Have a good night. My name is Creepy Truckee, and please come again for more videos next time.